Professor Stephen Kiama is the Vice Chancellor of the University of Nairobi. He's here with us in the studio. Good morning, Prof.
Good morning to you, sir. Eric.
Welcome to Kenya's biggest conversation. We've been longing to have you on the hot seat. Asante sana umejileta.
Mimi mwenyewe.
Wewe mwenyewe binafsi. Kwa hiari yako. Welcome.
Like we would be told those days when we went to NYS, found a cover at the entrance. Said, umejileta hapa mwenyewe. Mimi nimekuita. Those days of NYS, before you join university, you had to go to a National Youth Service.
Yes,
I did,
yeah.
How was that experience?
Well, quite interesting. From the gate, you start receiving harassment from there. And you wonder, what the hell is happening?
What's all this?
And he said, no, I didn't invite you here.
You brought yourself?
You brought yourself.
What?
And
Did the NYS have benefits?
yes, by the time you left,
Yes.
you felt actually the body is fitter. You are more fit now.
You had lost a lot of weight.
You have lost a lot of weight. You have made more friends. As you are doing drill and you are reduced to the same level, all of you.
All of you.
Then you bored.
Yeah.
Yes. And you run also a little bit that the body can do quite a bit.
Yeah.
Even when you are stretched to a certain level, you can be able to do much more than you thought that your body can. So a lot of things, but after you are through it.
Yes, after it
This
is
is
in
a-
hindsight.
It's a
You
hindsight.
realize,
Yes.
yes.
First week, absolutely not.
No. You want to get out of this place. But they are telling you, if you get out, no access to the university.
You're telling them, I passed. Among the very few in my village, if not the only one,
Yes.
who has passed to go to university.
Yes.
Ni nini mnanionyesha?
You think they care? they don't come from your village.
So that was...
Karibu sana, Prof.
Yeah, so you remind me those days, yeah.
You're the 8th Vice Chancellor of the UN. You took over and you came in and you've done quite a bit in terms of change as well. You had been DVC.
Yes.
You know the University of Nairobi for many years.
Yeah.
How many years have you worked at the University of Nairobi?
I have worked for University of Nairobi since 1990. 1990 is how many years? Those are
32 years.
32 years. That's a long time. So as soon as I finished my BVM degree, I did Bachelor of Veterinary Medicine. I'm a trained vet surgeon. The minute I finished, I was hired the same year. I finished in June, I was hired in September of the same year. So I have not left that place since, except for a short sojourn, 4 years, to go to Bern, University of Bern, to do my PhD. And then occasional travel of 3 months, 1 month, like that, outside the country. But most of the time, of the 32 years I've spent at the University of Nairobi.
You've been there.
I've been there. I've seen it all. Yeah.
So the changes that you have, you always felt, okay, maybe the university needs to take a certain direction in this and the other.
Yeah.
When did you start feeling and having conversations with your fellow seniors at the university on the direction that the university ought to take?
The university, I have gone to many universities and I have interacted, I've worked in different universities. And every time when you are at that level, you are teaching, you are a lecturer, you are a technician, everybody is complaining about this and complaining about the other thing. So I was part of that conversation.
The complainers.
Complainers committee.
Complainers committee. So when you go for 10 o'clock tea, it was a good time to just learn where is the university going. And nobody believes that where it is going is the correct place.
Yes.
So I was part of that conversation for a long time, as I indicated. And therefore, many times my colleagues would say, because I will also make contribution in this complainers committee,
Yes.
and they say, I think you can make VC.
You'd be our man.
But obviously it was looking too far there, so you don't believe it. You just give your stories. But now, when I entered in the dean's office in 2003, I was asked to serve in the dean's office. It's the first time I came there. I found there's no actual even a strategic plan There's no direction. So I said, I need the first thing. So every time you're doing like firefighting, people are queuing to see you. People are complaining for this. So you just look, where are we moving? You are so busy, but yet you don't know where you are going. So I said, the first thing I need to do is a strategic plan. So I walked to the office of the planning registrar that time, and I asked, I need the copy of the corporate strategic plan, so that now I can begin to develop one for my unit, the faculty. And he did not have something. The only thing he had was a document of, sometime they had put the deans together and said, can you think, what are you thinking about the next 5 years, the next 10 years, next 15 years? Where would you like to see your faculty at that time? And every dean had written there, I would hire 5 lecturers, and then after I hire another 5. And then
and that was the size of the plan. All right.
No, the strategic plan.
The strategic plan.
And then I will hire this, and then I will expand it. So that was the size of it. So I realized this is
There's a problem
We
here.
have a problem here. So we did. I mobilized the faculty. We did a strategic plan on what we need to do in the faculty of veterinary medicine then, and we began to implement some of those things. Soon after, I got embroiled in this Wangari Maathai Institute idea now. And a meeting, Wangari Maathai say, we hire many people from the university, and when they come, we have to retrain them. There is skills mismatch. We have they come, they have degrees of environment, but when you tell them to plant a tree, they don't know even where to begin, how to dig a hole, what size. So Wangari then brought me to that idea of environment from what I was doing. So let's see what we need to do to bring that experience you have to the University of Nairobi. So we began building the Wangari Maathai Institute for Peace and Environmental Studies, which we did. And then I got interested now to say, because I was involved in various committees, whether it is a student body. You remember the SONU?
Yep.
The student body, everything is chaos.
Constantly.
Constant chaos. So I started thinking, maybe I need to be somewhere where I can be able to contain some of this chaos. Because it is about engagement. These young people are not being engaged. They are not being involved. What is it we can do? But when you share in various meetings, nobody understands what you are talking about. These people need to be disciplined.
Children are just delinquents.
Delinquents. So that kind of thing. So that's how it came. And then when I came to the Vice Chancellor's office, I had all this knowledge. I went through also the Principal's office and the DVC, Human Resource Research Office, Human Resource Office, and I again learned a lot of things there. So I said, now we must make this university, one, it must be financially sustainable. Two, we must stop the business of taking our clients in circles in the university. When you come, you have some problem with some marks. You go to this office, you are sent to this office, and after that you are sent to that office, and after that you are sent to that office. We must, how can we have, when you go to an office, they can be able to tell you, we are able to do that, or we are not able to do that. Because we had, you have a chairman, and from the chairman you have the dean, and from the dean you have the principal, and from the principal you have the deputy vice chancellor, and from the deputy vice chancellor to the vice chancellor. And each of those offices
is a power,
and they don't have the documents on the desk. So when you come, after you leave, they mark the document to the another office. Because they don't have, those files, they don't have them. There. For every student, for every staff. So when you come, they don't even know who you are. They say, okay, what is the issue? You write it down. Oh, no. When you write it down, you walk out, they take it to the next office. And the other office, will be a senior person. It will be like a registrar, And the registrar also, is a big person. Registrar administration, registrar planning, registrar academic. So you also have several officers who work under you. So you also take it to that one. And the other one takes it to the other one. By the time you come, they say, what is it you said? When you come back.
Start again.
Start again. So we said, no, let us just get offices as much as possible. We continue to refine. We continue to refine until when you go to an office, they tell you this one is this way or that way. In fact, there are some people who visited me just last week from a university in Denmark. And they told me, look, in our university, we looked at all this and we were allowed by government. We corrupt all those things. We have just 7 people, all the top, and then after that, it is just the departments.
So from the outside looking in, Prof,
yes.
I mean, there, everybody speculating and things would say that now Prof has come in with a kind of bullish attitude towards pushing people out, but they did not see the chaos that was happening inside. So what you're saying now is now streamlining everything. Did it then absolutely require that approach that you've talked about, that you've seen in other places? It required the streamlining. Otherwise, the chaos that was within would have continued.
You see, I started by saying I was a member of the complainers committee. So the chaos, everybody knew there was chaos. You meet everybody, they'll tell you. The issue now was that this needed to dislodge some people for comfort zones. You get it? That is what now, it became personal now. You get it? So I was the one who was occupying this office, where I was the one now who was marking this to Eric and the others. Now this office is no more. So what is going to happen to me? Yeah. So that was the main issue now, that it is spiraled into that. So the issue was now to contain that. To say, no, you are not hired to sit in that office to do those things.
Yes.
You are hired to be a professor. You are hired to be a researcher, not to do those things, because many of those offices were occupied by academic members of staff. You get it? So that was the issue. So slowly, now they are starting to see, actually, that is the thing. Because now I can have more time.
So you're freeing them to do what they
were hired to do. What they were hired to do, and what they have competencies in. Yeah.
You know, from what you're saying, it's what you call the tyranny of habit. Over time, people got accustomed to the chaos.
Yes.
Some liked it,
Yeah.
and even found ways of thriving within that chaos.
Correct. Yeah.
So the resistance was now not resistance to you, but to change.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, one of the things that change agents like yourself perhaps get to grapple with, how do you get people to understand and to buy into this vision? Because you can see with clarity, and chances are there are other people who see exactly what you're seeing and agree with that vision. Even before you've talked to them, you say it, they say, yeah, this is the direction you should go. How do you get people on board? Now that you're VC, you're talking about the various colleges, you're talking about the people who run them. How do you get them to see what you're seeing so that they can embrace it and then make it part and parcel of the mantra of the institution?
Yes, there are obviously things in the books and the strategy, how you move step by step. But here, you're in a crowded theater, there is fire. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. The thing is, you need to pay the bill tomorrow. You need to pay the power bill. You need to do this. There are so many things you need. The students are queuing. They need to graduate at this time. So I when I came in, I started off. I said, okay, let's have this committee. And they go and they consult the people and they fight the views. And some of those people, when they go to the committee, there's so much arguments because everybody says, where is the VC moving?
How does that affect me?
How does it affect me? So the thing goes like that. The report comes, and the report comes recommending more committees. You get it? So the other thing I say, okay, let's do this now. Let's go to the data now. It's because also data was one of the things, as I said, the finance governance, data and people. I said, and the curriculum. I say, let's go to the data so that the people work with you now. You see how much you are spending in each of those offices and how much value each of these offices is bringing. So the minute you begin to collect that data, the people say, no. They know they are not doing much, but the data is going to refill as much. So they say, so the person comes back and he says, no, people are not giving data. There is no availability of data. We have a problem of data in this institution. So that was the issue. So, therefore, that's why we said this is of essence, and the speed is important. We must move very quickly because this is rescuing a situation. Yeah. Once we are all on the other side,
Essentially, it was an emergency.
it's an emergency. Once we are all on the other side of the river, we can ask each other, how was it?
But we must cross.
Yes, we must cross fast. And since I'm the leader, the captain, I must show the people, let's cross. And then when we close, you see, you are safe, you are safe, you are safe. We are all safe. Let us now see how to fine-tune this together. We fine-tune it together for us and for the future generation. So that was the issue. Yeah, we needed to move with some speed because everything was so bad. You just wake up, you hear maybe a vehicle is being auctioned because,
Wow.
yeah, you wake up, some power has been cut in the student hostel because the bill has not been paid. You wake up, even in the main block, the main university block, you hear the water people have come and cut the water. Because the money has been spent in other places, you have bought newspapers, you have done this with it. So you say, no, we cannot have this. We have to stop this. And at least begin with the basics. Ensure that the water is flowing in the pipes. There is power for people to read. The library has the resources that you require. The teacher is facilitated to go and teach. Those basics first.
Yeah.
You do them. Yeah.
When you first took the job,
Eh.
did you have any idea of what you were going to be faced with?
No. I must admit, no. Because, although I was a member of the complainers
Even
committee,
despite rising through the ranks from complainers committee,
at
the dean's office.
that is the decision I decided immediately after that, to empower everybody with the information. And I share it in Senate, I share it in the University Executive Board, I share it with everybody. Before, there was some a bit of thinking that if this is known, that we have this problem, then it looks like you are failing. You get it. So everybody was saying, no, we have dealt with that matter. That one is okay. Yeah. Even if it means you write a check and the check is written, and then after that it's put in a drawer. No, the check, we can show you the copy of the check. It's written. I think probably you have had those kind of.
How would you say things have changed?
Yeah.
I mean, looking at when you were on the inside, again, the complainers committee, and then coming to the highest then position at the university.
Yes, yeah.
How would you say things have then changed from when there was utter chaos until now?
Yeah.
What difference have you been able to see that other people also can attest to?
Yeah. We have seen increased efficiency of carrying out things. For example, if you take about the finance, the researchers, you are able, if you request for your funds to go to the field to carry out some work because you have a grant, you'll be able to get funds very fast because there are not so many steps. Yeah, you had your grant, the grant you wrote, you already had a budget and the series of activities you carry out. And so long as you confine yourself to that, then the approvals are just 1 or 2 steps. Yeah, and then we are online. We also put it online. That if you can just be proceeding, money will just come to your bank. If it is a supplier, money will just come direct to the bank. You don't need to come to the University of Nairobi to follow your check. No, it comes from our bank account to your bank account.
Yeah,
without other middle people having to tell you the check is written or we are writing the check.
Yeah.
Yes, so there's a lot of efficiency for the suppliers, for our students, for our staff, on the many things that we do. Now, there has been quite some big improvement and also a lot of savings. That we have made over time.
Your direction to cross the river has also, been halted in some cases.
Yeah.
Some decisions that you were making, and for example, that were resulting in closing of some colleges, where the education CS comes and says, "Go slow on this particular matter." Have you crossed with everything that you wanted to cross over from the other side of the river?
Yes, interestingly, we closed. Yeah,
You already crossed this.
we already closed that one. Because if you read the letter from the CS very carefully, it was not written to Professor Kiama. It was written to all universities in Kenya, both public and private, that it is important to follow these procedures when you are doing reforms. That is just what it was saying. They did not say stop reforms or something. It was saying, if you want to do reforms, follow
due process.
Follow these procedures, as we had already done. Yeah. I think what it was probably trying to do, if I look at it in hindsight, is just to avoid people jumping into it just because they have heard Kiama has done it, and they end up causing chaos in higher education sector.
Right.
That's probably what informed that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
You'll tell us about that decision, especially this one of saying let's close some colleges.
Yes.
And what it basically meant and why you got into that decision. You'll tell us about this, but let's take a break. Kenya's biggest conversation at 7:30. This is the Situation Room. Professor Stephen Kiama Wagetahi is the Vice Chancellor of the University of Nairobi. He's here with us. We're talking about the university, the changes that he's making. He's also the Secretary of the University of Nairobi Foundation Board of Trustees. He'll also tell us about this particular foundation and what it does.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
This morning is Professor Stephen Kiama Gitahi. He is the Vice Chancellor of the University of Nairobi. As we took the break, Prof, we said you're going to come back and tell us about this decision to close. How many colleges did you close?
You know, as I said earlier, we had several layers in the university. So we decided we must manage those layers better. So like faculty schools and institutes, we had like 36 units. And you know, each of those units, you require, you have an office, you require a secretary to manage each of those offices, you require a messenger, you require a record clerk to manage, because minimum, because, and in many cases also a driver to take the bus to different places. So we reduced those to 10, okay, which are aligned to our common date of teaching and learning, and we left a number which are also doing research, which would be supported through the funds attracted from research. Now, at the college level, we had 6 colleges, and then we had another 2 units equivalent to college. Yeah. That is, we had the Center for Open and Distance Learning, which was equated to college, and we had another one called graduate school, equivalent to college. Each of those, so many of them, whether it's the colleges are duplicating what the faculties are doing.
Yeah.
Okay? These others of graduate school and the other are duplicating what the DVC academic affairs is doing. Okay? So that layer, that entire layer, we just whitewashed it. We just cleaned it like this. Yeah. Because the work which was taking place there, you know, I said I have served in some of those offices myself.
Yes.
So even if you just do like this, work just continue immediately, because the exams are being done at the department. Okay? The approval of those exams are done in what we call the Faculty Examiners Board, where all examiners converge. And they see the student, the marks are tabled. This one is a distinction, this one is a pass. After that, the only other body which can sit to approve that is the Senate. But now they would have to go to this other layer where there is no other, they cannot even say this one has not passed. Because what will be the basis? The
Meaning
teacher,
they're not adding any value.
They have no value at all.
You get it? So the thing is that when you finish at the Faculty Board of Examiners, then you take to Senate. Okay? Because it's, you know, the university, there was also another problem. The University of Nairobi was in existence for many years. You see, we said we celebrated 50 years 2 years ago. The colleges were introduced in 1985, and they were introduced to deal with certain matters,
To meet
which
certain
we
needs,
know.
yes.
It was to meet political
Yeah.
issues, because it was very difficult to contain University of Nairobi. And as a result, then it was split into colleges, including the student body was also split not the big umbrella body, to colleges, to contain the politics of the university. And even the principals at that time were being appointed by the president. The vice chancellor is appointed by the president. The principals of the college are appointed by the president to contain. And if you look at those who were appointed at that time, they had quite some good leaning toward allegiance.
And the president was the chancellor of the university.
Yes. Some good allegiance to Kano system that time. Now, come the University Act 2012. The University Act 2012 did not recognize any of those structures. The University Act 2012 provided for council, provided for Senate, and the University Executive Board. And then provided that any of those boards can form committees, but cannot delegate their responsibility to any committee. You get it? Yeah. So that act by itself, by coming into force in 2012, abolished all those things.
So it wasn't you who abolished them. The act abolished them.
The act abolished them. Yes. The act abolished them. The only thing is that because people are used to those structures, they continued having them.
Yeah.
But they are not provided for in the law.
You just don't want to fire people.
Yes, because those the only thing they actually recognize all those things. Those are committees.
So how did the moves that you make then affect? Was there any negative impact felt? And that could have been social and not just on infrastructure. But how then those changes that you brought about, slicing down from 36 to 10 in terms of, what kind of impact then did it have? And then how are you able to mitigate or deal with those?
Yeah, that requires time for healing, because obviously, as I said, you occupy this office, and the office and the powers and the trappings that went with it are no longer there. You get it?
Yep.
So that is only time. That then you reflect, you see, actually, why was I so busy doing? Even if I was being paid extra hours and all that, what was I
really doing?
What was I really doing? And many of those people have now moved on to do things that add value to themselves and to the entire institution. So that's why you saw there was so much of this, and then after that, people begin to come down. It begin to come down by continuing to engage them and to tell them, we are looking at the university of the future, not of now. We must anchor it properly in the law. We must anchor it in the context of the changing environment. That there must be value for money. Even the Constitution provides for that. You cannot just establish an office just to please some person, and then you spend money, but what you get out of it is less. The Constitution also does not allow those things. The Fair Administrative Action, which is 2012, does not allow you to have a structure which takes people out in circles. They'll take you to court. You get it? Yeah. And as a result, we are being taken to court left, right, and center because of this kind of thing. So by when you do that, then people start now to understand that this.
So they can now see your vision. And
they can now see the vision. They can now see the vision. Yeah.
There's something else that you have done, and that is, in the launching of, the UON Foundation. So if we just start from the beginning and try to say, okay, so where did this idea come from, and to decide to have a foundation, and what exactly then would it do?
University of Nairobi has been depending on mainly two main revenue sources. And a third one, which has been growing now. That is the government capitation, which is, I will explain later, and also the charging fees of Audio 2 students.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And the other one is research. Okay? That has been the main source of financing university education. Government capitation, come 2017, 2019. The government said, we are only going to finance the undergraduate students. Okay? Any other activity you do in the university, that is yours. Any other center you have established, that is your business. Any other college or unit you have established, that is your business. The costing of those things is you did it. As we know, did you admit 5 student in medicine?
Did
you
they
admit five in Swahili? Did you admit 5 in engineering? We are paying for those in what they call differentiated unit cost. Initially, government said you pay 80% of the fees as calculated. But based on the number of students they have to pay for, that has reduced now to something like 45%. Yeah. So now, how do you finance all these other activities? So we had to rethink about our costing element. Now, the other issue is when students come to the university, you charge them a certain fees, even
Yes.
the module 2.
Yes.
If you give them value only equivalent to that money,
Will be used.
it will be a little low deal
Yeah.
because it's like you went to buy, the person need to make a profit out of it to pay other things, and now you pay, but you can. So we have to rethink the whole funding mechanism of higher education to ensure everybody gets quality. You get even more than even the money you put in.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you do that? We must now encourage philanthropy in this country. And the University of Nairobi says, first, we have a huge population of what we call the convocation or alumni.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yes.
Those who have graduated from there.
And are in viable, career paths.
Yes,
Yeah.
and they have benefited from the University of Nairobi. Their families are the way they are the way they are, their communities are the way they are, and the units they had in the country and the outside are better because of the training they received in the University of Nairobi. Indeed, any place I go and I meet people and I say I'm from University of Nairobi, I'm University of Nairobi Vice Chancellor, I see the people just getting elated, they get excited
Yeah.
because they remember those days and how that changed their life when they went through the university. So we are saying University of Nairobi now is aging. It's likely to begin to get frail because
It's
the
a 50-year-old.
facilities are, and the weather is getting a little weather. How can now these vibrant people out there come and say, no, we must ensure our mother, our alma mater,
Yes.
our nurturing mother,
Yes.
the one where we took some milk, who breastfed us.
Yeah.
How can we ensure that this mother
Remains,
remains strong to feed even more others? So that's why we say, let's have our members of convocation have a way they can support our research, our teaching and learning, our drive for developing an innovation culture, our way for supporting scholarship for students, that no one fails to access University of Nairobi education because of lack of fees. University of Nairobi for many years was attracting the best talents.
Yes.
So we don't want now to slowly shift only to those who can pay fees, not based on talents anymore.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, those who graduated from University of Nairobi, wherever they go and they say from University of Nairobi, there's a value attached to them.
Of course.
Because University of Nairobi is known what it is.
Yeah.
But can you imagine University of Nairobi declines like this? And you are the boss of Central Bank, or you are the boss of KTN, you are there. And Nairobi University is just some funny thing where nothing useful is happening there. So even the people look at you and they say, how did you get here?
Yeah.
How did you get here? If this is the school you
went to that school?
You went to that school? No. So it is to your benefit that the University of Nairobi remains attracting the best in terms of the professors,
Right.
in terms of students, because even those who are outside get value from that.
So the foundation
Yeah.
is to make sure that those who've been through the system now are able to, care for those who would come in and are not able to pay for themselves.
Yes, they are able to contribute, and this money is not mixed with the other operation money. It is put in a foundation, and it's protected there. It is used for only designated or agreed functions to the university.
Okay.
And then also, we have people who have a lot of money in this country. We want to continue to encourage philanthropy. So somebody can say, me, I have this 100 million Kenya shillings. I want to put in the foundation to support elimination of cancer in this country. Okay? The money is put there, and you say, only use the interest. Don't use the principal. Yeah, I put 100 million, hire a professor with the profit, and some of it for research work and a postgraduate student. in perpetuity.
Yeah.
And you have put that 100 million, nobody should use that one. They use
Only the interest.
only the interest. You get it? And now with the time, you see solutions of these diseases starting to come from this country.
Yeah.
Because for how long can we continue waiting only people from outside are the ones who are going to come to bring solutions to our health issues here? When we have huge capacity at the University of Nairobi for research, the only thing that needs is resourcing. Yeah. If we don't do that and we don't take control of the research and the finding and the medicine to be developed ourselves as a community, then this expertise will be used by other people from other countries. They just announce grants from US or from UK, people apply, and it is priorities of that area.
Yeah.
Right.
How can we ensure that as a people of this country, you don't need to have gone to the university. You probably just need to identify with the cause of the University of Nairobi, what the University of Nairobi has been studying for. Yeah. If you look at dentistry, most of the doctors you find from dentistry are trained from the University of Nairobi. So we want to see how can we ensure that the dental school is equipped to train more dentists,
Yes.
to take care of more people. Yeah. How do we ensure that we have better facility for cancer, that people are not going to India and the other places? Yeah. Because maybe you went to India, you are treated, but you have money. You say, no, nobody
I want
else
to make
will
sure
go through
nobody
that
else
kind
comes
of
to
thing.
India,
Right.
I'm going to put money in the foundation to ensure we eliminate this malaria, we eliminate this, we get vaccines for this, and the other thing. So that is why the foundation is there. Because we are saying this is a way now for Kenyans of all kinds, including our members of the convocation, to contribute to the agenda, to the agenda of the
Of
university.
the University of
To
Nairobi.
connect with it, you see, you put your money and you say the university to do this, it did exactly that, and you say, yes, hula, I contributed. So that the university is not the ivory tower, and the people are just seeing it as a government thing, government doing this. No, there is a pathway now.
Prof, what is the management structure of the foundation?
The foundation has a board of trustees. Currently, the chair of the board of trustees is the chancellor of the university, Fijura Tansi, who is well known in this country in the philanthropy. The Ratansi Trust.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
So on her own, she has also been supporting different universities, giving scholarships and all this kind of thing. Yeah. So she is very passionate about this as a chancellor. So she's the one leading this, and myself as a secretary. Then we have other trustees of respected Kenyans in this country. Now, when the issue is, we look at it, when we begin to manage that funds, we have to get professionals, fund managers. So the trustees is to ensure that the money is secure. Because each of them as a person, they are not interested, they are not there to pay or anything.
Yeah.
It's just to secure that money. Then you can see you have this Udmushu, you have this Genaflic, or any other known
Fund managers.
fund managers. You tell them, this is what you do. As we want, you bring our interest, we do this, and then there is the money, there is a transparency, the way it is controlled, it is going to support these activities and that activity. When you look at the most fibrous universities out there, they started off this kind of thing many years back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we've been able to see that,
Yeah.
there's then been the perpetuation of education.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, some of the most notable universities around the world have a rolling fund. Same thing.
Yes.
So then for here, the University of Nairobi, it's an enigma when people talk about it and say, okay, well, this institution that has been there for so long, can we make sure that it continues and then actually does take its place as a world-class institution?
Yes,
Does it mean then that you have to have been through the UON system to contribute to the fund, or if you want to see this continue, or is it just
No,
anybody?
you don't need to have been in the UN system. In fact, we have already received quite some support from different sources, and those people did not go through UN. They only believe in the UN mission and the mandate. And what the UN can do, they say, no, this one I can put my money, I can bet my money on this one. So that's what we want. You came, you are attended to by a doctor from the University of Nairobi, or your relative, or your child was attended. They say, no, this one I want to ensure that I empower this university to attend to more people. Yeah. So you don't need to have gone to the university, or sometimes you don't need to have gotten even any service from the university. You only need to brief with the cause of higher education and the importance of empowering scholars and researchers to solve the country problems, to make sure that the country becomes better and better in health, in agriculture, in engineering, in literature, in all fields.
In fact, Professor, if you look at the alumni of many schools in this country, they more or less do the same thing that you're saying.
They call them old boys.
Old boys, yes.
Yes, yes.
And there are many schools that have survived simply because of that same old boy network.
Yeah.
But you are right. The endowments that people give to universities, you'll find, for instance, there's one particular a famous endowment at Harvard, the H.T. Chang School for Public Health. $350 million was given by that family. 2 sons had actually been to Harvard.
Yes.
And so that, the public school, the public health school was named after them.
Yeah.
And you'll find many of those big universities, there are very many such institutions. Either it's a library or it's a nursing school. Yeah. You are right. The University of Nairobi was the only university in Nairobi for the longest time. Yes. I speak as somebody who went to it when it was the only university. Yes. So the number of people, and there were those who went before me. You are right. There are many. And many of them just didn't have the opportunity, or there wasn't a mechanism through which they could contribute.
Yes.
But just going to the university, it changed many lives. Completely. I mean, it revolutionized lives completely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Completely. Yeah.
Prof, looking at the other sources, so you told us the sources. Foundation is going to augment revenue streams for the university. Capitation, we can see what's happening with government. Fees. You're increasing fees at the university.
Yeah.
Why?
You know, the fees, we say, look, for a long time, we have been telling you, you pay this amount, we'll give you the service.
Yes.
Like even you remember the recent case of fuel. They say, you pay this, we get you fuel. Yeah. Finally, there was no fuel. And everybody said, don't increase. Okay, fine, we will not increase. But you go to the fuel pump. I remember the Kenyans are the ones who are demanding. It is better you increase and you make it available.
Let it be available.
Let it be available, isn't it? So that is the thing. We saw, if we don't take certain actions, we are going to close our doors. Can you imagine, even if it's a shopping, a shop in your area, in the village there is the only one which provides salt, sugar, and all that, says it's not going to increase. But then the market out there is changing for salt. Then finally you come, you find there's no salt. You eat food without salt. How does that help? And the shop has closed. So we said, we have seen many big institutions in this country close doors by just procrastinating, by failing to make a decision at the right time. Okay? You saw things like Ushumi, big ones, They just was there, and then after that, it is not there. Isn't it? We had the Kenatco, we had many things here in this country. Even Nakumat was there. So, University of Nairobi, for the sake of many of us who graduated from there, including my friend here, we cannot allow it to close for the time we are there. We must make the appropriate decision to ensure that you pay, even if you are not paying the full cost of what you need, at least to make us continue get some air to live for tomorrow. Yeah. So that is the only thing we did.
I think the big complaint that was coming from the students was that they felt it was drastic. It was 1 year, this is the fees, the next year the fees has gone up, and you were not prepared for it. And even HELB is not prepared for it. So many were caught unawares, so to speak.
So I can explain that. We said no. If you are already at the University of Nairobi and you have your letter, you have your letter of admission, your fees will remain as was indicated in that letter.
Okay.
Yes, it's just like if you go to a restaurant, they give you a menu. Yeah, they tell you coffee is
30 bob.
Is 30 bob or 20 bob. Chapati is 10 bob. You get it? And you order, you pay just what you saw in the menu. If tomorrow they find the uga for chapati is more and they increase it to 7 bob, the people who come tomorrow,
They'll find a new menu.
they find a new menu and they So that's the same thing we did.
Okay.
And I think it is the same thing that happens even when you rent a house somewhere, the new tenant,
They pay more.
they pay more. So we respected that.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Prof,
Yeah,
we've
yes.
got to end it there. Thank
Yes.
you very much for joining us today.
Right.
Come again. You see, we've been looking forward to having you for this conversation.